I'm Chris from MyMMAnews.com, being joined by Nick Alley, who just defeated John Gotti at CES 61 by unanimous decision in the main event, being joined by my man now. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Adam, dude, I'm doing great. Obviously, ecstatic. Main event, UFC Fight Pass, get a unanimous decision over, one of the top prospects. I'm feeling good.
So the first thing I was going to say, and we talked about this a little bit before, but names, they don't mean a damn thing to you seemingly. I mean, you have, obviously Gotti on your hand. You have Jay Ellis, close to 100 fights, and then you were supposed to fight Marcus Davis. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. On paper, you have the experience going into this. So did the name Gotti ever think like, oh man, did that ever present a thought?
No, not really.
No.
I've never really cared too much about who I fight. I always try to make it a little bit more of like a strategy game than anything. I know the name intimidates some people, but it was not a big deal. I'm going to fight him at the end of the day. I'm not going to fight his name.
So where does this fearless attitude that you have that goes into like, you know what, names don't bother me. I'll fight this guy with close to 100 fights. I'll fight this guy who's a UFC legend. Is that something, I mean, two questions. Is that something that you pride yourself on? The fact that just the fearless, I'll take on anybody, anytime, anywhere, doesn't matter record. And also, where does it come from?
The last thing I would ever call it is fearless, because that's not true at all. I'm every time I'm getting ready for any fight, I don't care who it is, man, I'm nervous as hell. It's definitely not fearless. Really, if anything, that makes me like hyper aware. I just like to think of it as like strategies. At the end of the day, you are going to go in there, you are going to fight. You have a skill set that you bring to the table. They have a skill set they bring to the table. The aura isn't going to do the fighting. It's you have to fight the fighter. So you just kind of have to figure out, what they do well, what you do well, and how to make yourself come out on top more often than not.
So as we've talked about, it was a good fight. I mean, he had his strong points, but it definitely seemed like once you had your rhythm, once you had, once you felt good, you were able to nullify most of what he had and be able to dictate the fight. Is that how you felt? And what did you feel about the fight from your perspective?
I really can't wait to go back and watch it. I haven't seen it again.
Really?
Yeah, no, I haven't gone back and watched it. I had went to work. I woke up at 5:30 this morning, went for my 3-mile run I always do on Fridays. I went to work today. I'm pretty much right back to work and the drawing board and get back to training. So, I haven't had a whole lot of time. But as far as the fight goes, the first round, definitely, I felt good. I started off, I landed a couple really good leg kicks that he had to respect immediately. Like I took his leg with me after the kick was over, so I knew that they were good. I don't think he landed any strikes on me on top from striking in the first round. He caught my kick and took me down. Really good at just stopping jiu-jitsu from the bottom, which, I knew he had to have some top game. I knew the fight was probably going to end up on the ground at some point. He knows that I'm dangerous on the ground. So I did kind of expect that. I tried to work a lot, but he wasn't giving me a whole lot. So I just kind of like let it slide. A little bit more complacency probably than I would have liked in the first round from me on the bottom, but is what it is. Second round, I definitely felt a little bit more in rhythm. The pace kind of got a little bit more where I like it. I'm a volume fighter, so I like to really, try to put the pace on people. I didn't mind striking, even in the fight. I didn't shoot a takedown until the third round. Yeah. Those times we ended up on the ground, it was him taking me down. And there was one point I think in the second round, he got a good trip. And I actually used inside butterfly, got back up right away and started striking again. So, like I said before the fight, I was ready for wherever it went. I found a pretty good tempo on the feet. I landed some good shots to the body, a good 3-2, good right hand to the body, and a good push kick. So I felt great. And in the third round, there was a couple different, a couple scrambles that I just ended up in good position. He wasn't giving me a whole lot, even on the bottom. Like there was no, we talked about this earlier, but there was definitely no quitting him. I never had any sort of space, to do anything.
Which is rough. I mean, like when you're constantly trying to advance and him constantly be on you, even in the later rounds. I mean, the kid was game, but like I said, it definitely seemed like you had his number as the fight progressed. I did want to ask, is with the fight and how it went, how close to it did it get to your game plan? How close, you game planned for him? How close in that range was it? Was it close to how your game planned, what you prepared for him? Was it completely that went completely out the left field? How'd it go?
No, I mean it went pretty close to the game plan. I honestly I would have liked to have striked more. As far as me looking like how I think about the fight, if I had to kind of gauge it on how I, what I feel and what I remember of it, I'd probably say that I'm like about 40, 50% satisfied. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm super unhappy with still. I felt like I wasn't as, loose as I should have been. But I mean, I had a little bit of a layoff. We both kind of did. So there's definitely obviously room for improvement. As far as game plan, pretty close to it. I mean, we expected to be on the ground. I wasn't really going to be hunting takedowns. I thought that probably was going to be what was expected. And I basically just did what I figured I would do. Once they came, it was there. I landed a good right hand in the third round and right into a clinch and was able to work takedowns. So it was good.
Now that the names and the bigger names at that are starting to stack up in your favor, 3-fight win streak going on, I mean, what's going to be next for you? Have you talked to CES? Do you have any other future plans, fight set up? What's the deal?
I don't have anything yet. Obviously, it's only like 3 days later.
True.
I'm still working. I know CES made a couple comments when I left about having me back in, so I'm not sure what they decide to do. But yeah, I'm looking to stay active because I would just love to. I said, I want to kind of make this year the best year that I can. I was lucky enough to get a fight in before this all happened. I'm lucky enough to get a fight in now. If I'm real lucky, I'll get another fight in before the end of the year. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Oh, wow. You're trying to get another one in before the end of the year.
Yeah, why not, man? I feel great. I'm healthy. Like I said, I took, I didn't really take any damage from that fight. He didn't really hit me a whole lot.
Yeah.
Not a discredit to him. I was able to get out of it with no damage. There was a couple punches he threw that I just was able to duck out of the way. So yeah, I mean, might as well, right? There's no time like the present.
I know, which makes me it transitions very well into my next question. With the bigger names stacking up, is there anybody that you particularly want?
Honestly, I don't look past anybody. So I really wasn't thinking about that. I had that fight with Marcus on the table. Obviously, any fight with anybody that's a legend still is a ton of fun to me. So if that fight ends up being a reality, that's pretty cool. But and for him too, it's like clock's ticking away on his end. He was going to be 37 the day that we fought. So I don't know. I don't know what his plans are. I don't know what Premier's plans are. If it's an option outside of Premier, but that's something that we can look into. And we'll see what the coming weeks kind of bring up.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I want to keep in touch and see what's going on because obviously the heat is starting to rise and starting to flare behind my man Nick here. So another question I wanted to ask before I let you go is I know you said everything is still fresh and you're on top of the world right now. Obviously, with good reason, 3-fight win streak. The names are stacking up. I can't say enough. How have you been celebrating? You went back to work, but come on, man. Whether it's a nice, good, hearty meal that you're cheating with or a nice night out at the bar, what's going on?
I got you. There, PV Donuts right down the street. There were 12 of them in there. There's none of them in there now. I am going to. I don't normally go down to Providence, so that's why I went there. But tomorrow, my girlfriend and I we're going to the spot that we always go to after every single one of my fights. I go to Union Street Donuts in Somerville.
That's awesome.
It's my jam. So we're going tomorrow. I'm going to pick up probably another dozen and house those, and then it'll be
back to the grind.
Yeah, I can work all those donuts off, dude.
I hear you, dude. So, all right, man. Before I let you go, where can the fans find you as far as fight news, social media, any of your sponsors that they can support you? Anything? The floor is yours. Final words.
So I'll give a quick shout out to the sponsors and the fans. My management company, Prime Athletics, my nutritionist, who I can never ever say enough about, Trisha Cornell. She runs Feel Nutrition. She's fantastic. Anybody that doesn't have a nutritionist should absolutely reach out to her. Super easy to work with, and she's done so many good weight cuts. I used to have an issue with cutting weight, and she just makes it so smooth. I mean, so smooth. I cut 9 pounds was the easiest cut of my life. Apex Hemp Oil, percent like fantastic hemp products, CBD products. They got dog cookies. My dogs are like love them.
Yeah.
Impact mouth guards. and I'm sure that I got a million other sponsors, but I'm terrible at that. Sorry. I will eventually get better once I get better at this bracket. But my partners over at Team Link in Hooksett, my head coach Ed Carr, my jiu-jitsu coach Brent Kernberger, Jay Fortier, my man Ross Aveen, he was in my corner. He doesn't get to come up and train with us anymore, but he used to. He's down at Pride in Rhode Island, so I was able to grab him. My best boys over at the gym. I got Ken Murphy, Dylan Crowley, Geraldo. They're all my guys. Fans, anybody that wants to find me, anybody that wants to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, but Facebook's a bunch of, I just post like the most ridiculous stuff on Facebook. So that's just under my name, Nicholas Daly. My Instagram is Nick_JC_Alley. Just my fight name. That's mostly where my fight news comes from. Pretty much all the pictures that I post for training, different things like that. All the ridiculous memes that I follow. But that's pretty much it, man.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Nick. I appreciate it, and congratulations, man. I'm sure you're on top of the world, and with just cause, my friend.
Yeah, like I said, man, I like to keep that short. It's sweet, but it's just sweet enough to keep you wanting more. You know what I mean? You can't revel in it.
Well, enjoy those donuts, man. We'll catch up before the next one. And again, thank you for joining me, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Have a great night.
There he goes, Nick Alley, who just defeated John Gotti at CES 61. And the future is there for the taking for my man, Nick Alley. He's on quite a streak here, and you haven't heard the last of him. For Nick Alley, I am Adam Christ. Make sure you keep it locked to MyMMAnews.com for all your fight news needs.